This is Martha Hines with Living the One Light, and I'm making a video today to talk about the full moon in Libra, which is coming up this Sunday, March 28th. And at the same time of this full moon coming up, a few other phenomena are happening in the sky that I've been dropping into and feeling into, and I'm feeling like a story that they're telling. And so I wanted to drop into that story with you guys in a sense, or just explain what it is that I'm feeling and that I've got kind of tuned into today. So first of all, I want to say that two of the ways that I resonate with the archetypes of astrology are the idea that astrology, like I just said, tells stories, and then also the idea that the energies of astrology are essentially like music. So when we're talking about any of these astrological things that are going on, I think of it kind of like the each of the archetypes, or each of the entities that we might mention, like let's say Venus in Aries, right? Or Neptune in Pisces, or any of those seemingly separate points in the sky are like, well, they're energies. That's really what they are. We're all of us, everything is energy. So it's like each of the planets is playing a note, or even, I would say, I experience it as like an infinite set of notes, actually. And then each of those notes has a resonance with the notes of the other infinite things going on in existence, including us. So when there's a certain configuration in the sky, it's as though the music and the story of the sky essentially is just shifting over time, and then we are also a certain version of music of existence. So the story and the song being played at any moment by the cosmos, by existence, is then going to be interacting with the music or the song that is me, or is you, or is anything. And so because there's that interaction, obviously the song that I might feel, or the way I might feel the song, is going to be totally different than, or theoretically very different than maybe how it's going to feel in you. And so I feel like I want to give that caveat that any interpretation I give of anything is me. It's me talking, and is what I maybe channel too, but the channeling is also coming through the filter of me. And so what might resonate about the current song being played in the cosmos is only one of infinite ways that the song might manifest or might feel to you. So my goal really in everything I do is, not only with astrology, but just in general, is to help us each remember and come into the song and the story and the energy that is us, and the wisdom that is each of us. So that being said, the components of the story or the song that I'm seeing when I'm looking at this full moon, and actually the energies even leading up to the full moon. I'm making this video on Wednesday before the full moon, and the full moon's on Sunday, so I'm a few days ahead of the full moon right now. And on the day of the full moon, the moon will be in Libra. The sun will be opposite the moon, because that's what makes a full moon. The moon will be at 8 degrees of Libra. The sun will be at 8 degrees of Libra. But also, actually tomorrow, Thursday, Venus will be conjuncting the sun tomorrow night, Thursday night, the 25th of March. Venus will be conjuncting the sun in Aries. And on the day of the full moon, she will still be at 8 degrees of Aries, near the, just past the sun, but near the sun. And also Chiron, which I'll talk about in a second. Chiron is at 8 degrees of Aries. So the sun, Chiron, and Venus will all be at 8 degrees of Aries, opposite the moon in Libra. And then also, so those 3 planets will be in Aries. The planet that rules Aries is Mars. And Mars, right today, on Wednesday, later today, maybe happening, or maybe tonight or tomorrow, in the next, soon, very soon, before the full moon, Mars is actually conjuncting the north node of the moon. It's thought of as kind of the intention of our souls, and anyway, I'll talk more about that in a second too. So then Mars will be conjuncting the north node of the moon in Gemini. Stick with me here. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury, and then right around now, is squaring the nodes of the moon and squaring Mars. So, and then Mercury is in Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune. And on the day of the full moon, on Sunday, Mercury will be approaching Neptune. Mercury will be at 19 degrees of Pisces, and Mercury will be at 19 degrees of Pisces, and Neptune will be at 21 degrees of Pisces also. So Mercury will be coming toward Neptune, not quite there, but in a sense dissolving into Neptune. Okay, so those are the components of this story that I'm seeing. And when I'm feeling into what is this song, what is this story that's going on in the sky in these days, the version of the energies that come alive for me is the following. So again, this is the song and the story through the song and the story of me, right? But it's also, I'm also feeling it from the cosmos, and I'm feeling it. It's definitely being asked to be shared with the greater collective. So I'm going to guess that it's going to resonate with at least some of you, but I'd love to hear your versions too. Anyway, so what I'm feeling is that if you just take the full moon in Libra, opposite the sun and Venus and Chiron in Aries. I made a longer video about just those energies a couple days ago, and you can go back and listen to that. But what I feel around just those energies is that for me, it's a reminder that all things are a mirror of ourselves. So Libra has to do with balance and harmony and justice and beauty and partnership and the mirroring in the world. Things that are outside of us that we experience as, an other, but in reality are simply part of the whole. And Libra is ruled by Venus, which is going to happen to be conjuncting the sun opposite this full moon. And so to me, this Venus conjuncting the sun is highlighting, and then ruling the moon, which is mirroring the sun. That Venus sitting there to me is highlighting this idea that other is kind of an illusion. It's, the ultimate reality is that all things are actually bouncing back light to us and showing us something about the whole. And we are the whole. So then you add in Chiron sitting there. And Chiron, to me, highlights the healing, just healing in general, healing of, deep wounds that are very difficult to heal. Chiron is talked about as the wounded healer, or the teacher of, it's the aspect of us. One way to think of Chiron is it's the aspect of us that has been wounded and then becomes, heals that, and then becomes the teacher and the healer of that wound. And in particular, Chiron being in Aries, to me, can speak of or resonate with the wounded masculine in particular. The wounded masculine on the planet, the wounded masculine in relationships, the wounded masculine in each of us, that side of things. But Chiron can be really representing any healing needed in any of us or in the world. And so with Chiron sitting there opposite the moon in this remembrance of us as mirrors for each other, it's like a reminder of the healing potential that's there also in that mirroring. And then if you go to Mars being on the North Node and Mercury ruling that North Node, squaring Mars and squaring the nodes. Mars has to do with action and energy, like movement and motion. And it is in Gemini, and then on the North Node in Gemini, ruled by Mercury. And Gemini and Mercury have to do with communication, allowing energy to flow between things. And like I said, Mercury is currently in Pisces, and it's approaching Neptune. So this whole conglomeration of energies to me speaks of that when we have wounds or hurt or healing that needs to happen, that's a reality of earthly life. A really unfortunate one and very difficult, right? And then this Mars coming to the North Node of the moon in Gemini, squaring Mercury, which happens to rule the North Node, is to me a reminder of allowing the energies of the hurt or the pain or the suffering or the grief or whatever is involved in that, allowing it to continually move. And then with Mercury coming into Neptune, Neptune represents the all that is, God, the nothing, the everything, the divine source. And so Mercury is reminding us to, let the energy, the communication, the words flow at the same time that it's also dissolving back into Neptune, or the all that is. So the overall image and picture I get when I tap in and when I pray on this is that Neptune, of course, is the ultimate reality. It's the ultimate healing state of being. It's the ultimate reality of who we are and what we are. We are all everything, and we are all nothing. We're all the nothing of everything. And that's like the ultimate umbrella that all of this is happening under and through and in and all of it. So, but that's the ultimate holding source. And so when we are on planet Earth and we have a sense of being separate from each other, that Libra, sense of the opposites, the other mirroring us, we have this illusory sense that we are separate from each other. And in that separation, we experience harm and hurt and pain and a sense that things become broken, which is speaking to the Chiron energy. And so the overall feeling I get is that this configuration of energies, this story or this song that's moving through as we approach the full moon and then on the day of the full moon, is like it's a story or a song being sung for us and through us and as us of remembering that we're always being held by the divine and that these energies of these pains and these hurts are real here on Earth, at the same time that the ultimate reality is that it's all dissolved into nothing. But that doesn't mean make the pain any less. But it's like what I feel being called or asked of us to do, or the reminder for us is that one way to allow the healing to happen, the Chiron healing, is to simply just tap back into the ultimate reality of Source, one, the divine, and then, but also at the same time, stay present with the pain, the hurt, the suffering, and allow it to move, like the Mars, like activating the flow, the communication. Does something need to be said? Do I need to cry? Do I need to laugh? Do I need to sing? Do I need is there some way that this wants to flow? Maybe multiple ways it wants to flow, instead of letting the hurt get stuck in any way. Because as a lot of us have experienced, when hurts or pains get stuck, that's when we can, things can start to get even more painful on lots of levels. So that's the reminder that I'm feeling in this time of this full moon, and it's really beautiful. So yeah, and then the last thing I'll say is that this sense of Libra being the mirror, everything being a mirror of ourselves, and this healing opportunity, and Neptune being the ultimate thing that's holding us, Source being the ultimate thing that's holding us, brings me back again to the idea that one of the most radical things that we can do to help ourselves and help the world ultimately is to come into our relationship with ourselves. Not to ignore the world, not to not take action in the world also, but when when we come into, I want to say, right relation with ourselves, like ourself, within ourself, what we end up mirroring to the world is so different than if we're kind of operating inside of ourselves, in a wonky way, like not fully, if we're not fully integrated in our own relationship to ourselves, if we're operating with a lot of like negative self-talk, or I don't know, doubts about ourselves or whatever it is, it's almost like we're operating like if we're a car, and we only have 3 wheels that are functional, like we're going to be moving through the world kind of lopsided. So yeah, I just keep getting called over and over and over again to drop into this space and encourage others, like open opportunities for others to drop into our internal relationship with ourselves. And so along those lines, I'm continuing to work on a 40-day self-love repatterning program, which I'm putting together, and a journal that I'll be publishing on Amazon regarding that. And also, it's very resonant with the 3 books that I'm working on right now, which are called Love Speaks, The Goddesses Speak, and The Gods Speak. And the first 2, Love Speaks and The Goddesses Speaks, are done, but they're not published yet, because I have this sense that all 3 of those books are supposed to be published at the same time. But yeah, but I just wanted to make a little mention of those books that will be coming out soon. And if you feel called to feel more into what is the song moving through you, what is the story moving through you, what is the wisdom that is you, that's also a big part of what I do with people one-on-one, and what I do with people in my Patreon membership. So I'll be making another video for this full moon, just for Patreon members at the $6 a month level and up. And that video is going to be channeled. So it's more of a direct transmission for helping us each to drop into what does this feel like? What are the energies of this time and this full moon, and just your life in general? What comes through for you? What's present in your own wisdom for yourself and for the world? So that is that's what I feel called to make available for Patreon members. But yeah, in general, if you're in a time in your life when you're really wanting support to access your own wisdom, like you can feel it, it's right there, or you have, I don't know, like strange connections to the spirit world, and you can't quite figure out how to tap into that, or you have intuition that is really strong, and you just can't quite figure out how to find the key to unlock that door, or harness it in some way. That's a big part of what the spirit world has asked me to be present for people, is just as a like a midwife for yourself in a sense. Not to give you answers, but to just be present, to see you, and to acknowledge you as an infinite, beautiful, deeply wise being, because that's what we all are. And the world needs us to remember. That's why we're here. I feel that really strongly. So, if any of that calls to you, certainly contact me at livingtheonelight@gmail.com. or you can join my Patreon membership. I'll put that link here as well. You can also look on Amazon for my 3 books that are published: Living the One Light, Gaia Speaks, and The Cosmos Speaks. Yeah, and that's all for now. But I will see you soon, and please subscribe to this channel if you'd like as well. Thank you. See you soon.